Today we are going to be going over how to safely check if your passwords have been breached. Now, how can we do that? I'm sure there's a number of sites out there that have input fields for passwords where they'll gladly check if your password has been breached against a non-existent data set. Once you put in your password, they'll take it, turn around, and try and use it against you. Well, we don't want to do that. We want to safely determine if our passwords have been in a data breach. Well, first place to start is where's the data breaches? Where's a big data set? Well, there's a website, HaveIBeenPwned, that has a huge number of data breaches and a huge data set of emails and accounts and passwords that have shown up in previous data breaches. You can look at their website. A lot of cool stuff here. You see they have an input field for email or phone. They'll check if your email or phone showed up somewhere. They also have a section for passwords. Now, looks like they have about 600 million passwords that have shown up in data breaches. But seeing an input field like this can be a little scary, and you may be told by people to never put in your password into a password checker, which, for better or for worse, is probably a good idea. But they actually have an API where you can safely check your password against their data breaches without giving them your password at all. You give them a little bit of a different variation of your password, and it returns whether or not they've seen something that may be it or not. And that works with their API using the k-anonymity model. So what you do, essentially, the short version, is you SHA-1 your password. You get a hash of your password in the SHA-1 spec, and you take the first 5 characters of that SHA-1, you pass it to their API, and they return a list of the remainder of SHA-1s that all matched on the first 5 of the SHA-1. So to kind of give you an example, if you had SHA-1 of 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, they would give you all the remaining matches that all matched on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they'll give you the number of times it matched. Okay? So this is an example response from the hash of 21BD1. And then this is the number of times each time it showed up in a data breach. So this is really cool because we can now search this data set without giving them our full password or a password at all. We just give them the first 5 of the hash. Okay? So let's see how this would work if we coded it up. So I'm going to use 2 libraries here. I'm going to use requests and hashlib. Requests is a very popular third-party HTTP library in Python, and then hashlib is built in for hashing. We're going to need a function here that's just going to get the data back from HaveIBeenPwned using their APIs. So we'll call this get hashed dataset. And that's going to take in the first 5, and we'll write that in a second. And then we'll need another function that will say check password, and this will do the bulk of the work of checking the result. And that'll take in a password as a parameter. Oops, I spelled that wrong. Alright, and then the rest of this is going to be under main. And we'll just say for p in passwords, and we'll print out a cool little statement here. We'll say this password has been seen this many times in data breaches. Or actually has been seen in this many in data breaches. and then we'll do some formatting once we get the rest of this written up. So in the end, what we'll do is we'll iterate through passwords, and we'll check each one and tell you the password and the number of times, or the number of data breaches it's shown up in. Alright, so getting this data set, we'll just do r equals request.get, and we'll need that API endpoint. This is a public API, no API key needed. We'll get that, and we'll just need to pass in our range, or our first 5. And then we will get the result back. So we'll say, response is equal to r.text. Now I happen to know that it comes back in this fashion. So it's just text and it's line separated. So we'll need to split that up per line and then split each line by a colon. So we'll do text dot split by new line. In this case, we use r/r/n, and then we'll go ahead and return response. Actually, we'll return a list comprehension x for x in response, and we'll go ahead and split this by colon. So what we're doing here is we're doing the actual GET request. We're getting back the response, the text of that response. We're splitting it by new line, so that'll give us an array of all of these. And then we return a basically array of arrays of each one split by the colon. So let's go ahead and look at that real quick, see what that looks like. So if I comment this out for a second and run this against something like that, then, oops, need to print it. Alright, so now we get this array of arrays, and each inside array has the last part of the SHA-1 and the number of times it was seen in data breaches. Alright, so going back to here, when we check a single password, we will need to get that hashed. Well, we'll need to split it up first and hash it and split it up first. So we'll say hashed equals hashlib.sha1 of the password, and we'll need to encode it because it wants to take that, and then we'll get the hex digest from it. And we'll say first 5 equals hashed first 5, and last part is going to be hashed last part. And then we will go ahead and go get the results. So we'll say hashed results equals get hash dataset. First 5. I guess I can keep my naming a little consistent. Hashed dataset equals get hash dataset. And then we'll go ahead and loop through and say for hashed password in hash dataset, we want to check if the hashed password 0 index, so meaning if, oops, so meaning if the first, if one of these records equals the last part, and actually I have to go back up here and uppercase this because the hex digest does not return uppercased. So, but yeah, we're matching on uppercased. So if they equal each other, then return the number of times you've seen it, which is index 1, else we'll just return 0. And then this should work. We can uncomment this out, and we can go up here and do our formatting, so dot format, and we'll say this password, which is P, and check password, P. Alright, so yeah, what we're doing here is we're saying, go ahead and check this password for every password in my list up here, right? Go through and check the password, and checking the password, we go ahead and hash it, split it by first 5, last part, get the hash data set from this API request, nice clean formatted, go through the response, check our last part of our hash password against the response, see if it's in there. If so, we return the count. If not, we return 0. Go ahead and run this. And there you go. So what we're seeing here is we say this password test has been seen 83,000 times, or in 83,000 data breaches. Okay, password has been seen 3.8 million times. This one 25,000. This variation 33. You get the idea. Something very unique has not been seen yet, although maybe it will be now. And this phrase that I came up with just for this demo, 0 times. So all in all, this gives you a nice way to check against HaveIBeenPwned's data sets without giving them your password whatsoever. And you're just using a SHA-1 hash first 5, and they give you everything back. Anyway, hope you liked it. Thanks for watching.